Most people don't notice the warning signs at first. The afternoon fatigue, the brain fog, the cravings that seem impossible to control. The stubborn belly fat that refuses to move no matter how many walks you take. The aching joints, the slow metabolism. The feeling that your body simply doesn't respond the way it used to. And perhaps the most frustrating part is this. Many people are trying. They're eating healthy. They're avoiding obvious junk food. They're taking vitamins, trying new diets, reading labels, watching health videos late at night searching for answers. Yet somehow, the energy still feels low. The weight still clings to the body. The inflammation still lingers. And deep down, many adults over 50 quietly begin wondering something they rarely say out loud. Is my body just wearing out? But what if the problem isn't that your body is broken? What if your body has simply been missing a few key signals for years? Because hidden underneath modern health confusion is a truth most people never hear clearly enough. Your body is constantly trying to heal, repair, balance, and protect you, every second of every day. The problem is that modern life often overwhelms the systems designed to keep you healthy. Too much stress, too little sleep, blood sugar spikes, processed foods, inflammation, nutrient depletion, muscle loss, digestive problems, and over time, your body starts adapting to survival instead of thriving. That's when energy drops, fat accumulates more easily, recovery slows down, and many people begin feeling older much faster than they should. But here's what makes this fascinating. Sometimes the body doesn't need extreme interventions. Sometimes it simply needs consistent biological support. And today, we're going to uncover 3 everyday superfoods that quietly support some of the most important systems inside the aging body. Not exotic powders, not miracle supplements, not expensive health trends. Real foods. Foods that help support metabolism, inflammation control, blood sugar balance, energy production, muscle maintenance, brain health, and even healthy aging itself. And one of them has been sitting in grocery stores for decades, while many people avoid it unnecessarily because of outdated fears. But before we reveal that food, we need to understand why the body changes so dramatically after 45 or 50. Because once you understand what's happening beneath the surface, everything suddenly starts making sense. After midlife, several important shifts begin happening quietly inside the body. Muscle mass naturally declines. Insulin sensitivity weakens. Recovery slows. Inflammation rises more easily. Hormonal balance changes. Mitochondria, the tiny energy factories inside your cells, become less efficient. And the body becomes far less forgiving of poor nutrition and chronic stress. This is why many adults say things like, "I barely eat more than I used to. I walk every day. I'm trying to be healthy." And yet, the body feels heavier, slower, more inflamed, more exhausted. Because after 50, health becomes less about calories alone and far more about cellular support. Your cells are trying to produce energy constantly, repair tissues, balance hormones, control blood sugar, protect the brain, maintain muscle, fight inflammation. And they require the right raw materials to do it. That's where the first superfood enters the picture: eggs. For years, eggs were unfairly blamed for cholesterol problems. Many people spent decades avoiding yolks completely, believing they were protecting their hearts. But modern science tells a far more interesting story. Eggs are one of the most nutrient-dense foods the body can consume. They contain high-quality protein, healthy fats, choline, B vitamins, selenium, and nutrients that support brain health, metabolism, and muscle maintenance. And perhaps most importantly for adults over 50, eggs help support muscle preservation. Now, this matters far more than many people realize, because muscle is deeply connected to healthy aging. Muscle helps regulate blood sugar, supports metabolism, protects balance and mobility, improves energy usage, and acts almost like a metabolic organ inside the body. But after age 50, many adults gradually lose muscle every single year without realizing it. And one hidden reason is insufficient protein, especially at breakfast. Think about how many breakfasts are mostly carbohydrates: toast, cereal, jam, pastries, sugary coffee drinks, quick energy. But very little actual nourishment for muscle and cellular repair. This creates a cycle many people know all too well. Blood sugar spikes, energy crashes, cravings increase, fatigue returns by afternoon. But protein-rich breakfasts tend to stabilize energy much more effectively. Eggs provide amino acids, the building blocks your body uses to repair tissue, maintain muscle, and support countless biological functions. And there's another reason eggs matter after midlife: choline. Most people have never even heard of it, but choline plays a critical role in brain function, liver health, nerve signaling, and cellular repair. And many adults are not getting enough, which becomes increasingly important because the brain itself changes with age. Memory, focus, mental clarity, processing speed. All of these systems rely heavily on proper nutrition and stable blood sugar. And this is why many people feel mentally sharper when they begin eating more balanced meals consistently. Not because of magic, because biology responds to nourishment. Now, does this mean eggs are a miracle cure? Of course not. No single food can fix years of stress, poor sleep, or metabolic dysfunction overnight. But eggs provide something the body desperately needs after 50: reliable building material. And that brings us to the second superfood, one that many people completely underestimate because it seems too simple to be powerful: berries. Blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, raspberries. These tiny fruits contain compounds that quietly support some of the most important anti-aging systems in the body. And what most people don't realize is that aging itself is heavily connected to something called oxidative stress. Now, that sounds technical, but the idea is actually very simple. Every day, your body experiences wear and tear: stress hormones, inflammation, poor sleep, pollution, blood sugar spikes, processed foods, normal metabolism itself. All of these create tiny amounts of cellular damage over time. Think of it almost like biological rust. And as we age, the body becomes less efficient at managing this damage. That's where antioxidants become incredibly important. Berries are rich in antioxidants called polyphenols and anthocyanins, compounds that help protect cells from oxidative stress. And fascinatingly, these compounds may also help support brain health and circulation. Now, why does circulation matter so much? Because every tissue in your body depends on oxygen and nutrient delivery. Your brain, your muscles, your heart, your skin, even your metabolism itself. And circulation often becomes less efficient with age. This is why many older adults feel colder more easily, recover slower, experience more stiffness, or feel more fatigued after activities that once felt effortless. The body is still functioning, just less efficiently. And here's something especially important. Many processed foods create inflammation while offering very little nutritional protection in return. Sugary snacks, ultra-processed desserts, highly refined packaged foods. These foods often create rapid blood sugar spikes followed by crashes, and repeated blood sugar instability can quietly damage metabolic health over time. Which is why berries are so powerful. They provide sweetness, fiber, hydration, vitamins, and antioxidants without causing the same extreme blood sugar spikes as many processed sugary foods. And over time, small swaps matter enormously, because health after 50 is rarely transformed by dramatic short-term efforts. It's shaped by repeated daily patterns. And this leads us directly into the third superfood: One of the most powerful foods for inflammation, metabolism, brain health, and healthy aging overall. Fatty fish. Salmon, sardines, mackerel, trout. Now, for years, many people feared fat altogether. Low-fat everything became the health trend, but the body desperately needs healthy fats, especially as we age. Your brain relies heavily on fat. Hormones rely on fat. Cell membranes rely on fat. The nervous system relies on fat. And fatty fish contain omega-3 fatty acids that help support inflammation balance throughout the body. This matters because chronic inflammation is now connected to many of the problems people experience after 50. Joint pain, fatigue, insulin resistance, cardiovascular disease, brain aging, metabolic dysfunction. Inflammation is not always dramatic. Often it's low-grade and silent. You simply feel more tired, more stiff, more swollen, more sluggish. And perhaps most frustratingly, you feel older. This is why some people notice major improvements in energy and recovery when they begin eating more anti-inflammatory foods consistently. Not overnight, but gradually, because the body heals slowly. And there's another fascinating reason fatty fish matters so much. Protein again. Most adults dramatically underestimate how important protein becomes with age. Protein helps preserve muscle, supports immune function, stabilizes appetite, improves recovery, supports hormone production. And muscle preservation becomes critically important after 50, because muscle helps regulate blood sugar. This is one of the hidden truths many people never hear. Blood sugar isn't only about sugar, it's also about muscle. Healthy muscle tissue acts almost like a storage system for glucose. But when muscle declines with age, blood sugar regulation often worsens too, which partly explains why belly fat becomes more stubborn after midlife. The body becomes less metabolically flexible. This is why strength training, even light resistance exercises, can become so powerful later in life. Not to become a bodybuilder, but to preserve metabolic health. And when combined with nourishing foods, the effects become even more meaningful. Now here's where many people accidentally make things harder on themselves. They start chasing perfection. Perfect diets, perfect meal plans, perfect rules, and eventually they become exhausted. But real health rarely comes from perfection. It comes from consistency, small habits repeated over months and years. A protein-rich breakfast, more fiber, more hydration, daily walking, better sleep, less processed food, more whole nourishment. Simple things, but simple does not mean weak. In fact, some of the most powerful biological changes come from basic habits repeated consistently. And there's something emotionally important many people need to hear. If your energy feels lower than it used to, if your metabolism feels slower, if your body feels more inflamed, if weight gain feels easier than before, that does not mean your body has failed you. Your biology is adapting to aging, stress, and decades of accumulated signals, and the body can still respond positively to support at almost any age. That's the hopeful part many people never hear enough. Because modern health culture often creates shame around aging, but aging itself is not failure. The goal is not to become 25 again. The goal is to support the body intelligently so it can function better, longer. And these everyday superfoods help support exactly that. Not through hype, but through biology. Now, there's another hidden issue affecting millions of adults over 50 that quietly worsens almost every health problem we've discussed. Poor sleep. And what makes this so important is that sleep affects nearly every metabolic system in the body. Blood sugar regulation, stress hormones, appetite control, inflammation, memory, recovery, muscle repair. Even one night of poor sleep can temporarily increase insulin resistance, which means the body struggles more to manage blood sugar. And over time, chronic poor sleep can amplify fatigue, cravings, and inflammation dramatically. This is why health is never about one isolated food alone. It's about creating an internal environment where the body can function properly again. And food becomes one of the strongest daily signals you send your biology. Every meal tells the body something. We are safe, we have nutrients, we have protein, we have stable energy, we can repair. Or the opposite. We are stressed, we are inflamed, we are overloaded with sugar, we are undernourished. Your body listens constantly. And perhaps one of the most encouraging truths is this. The body often begins responding positively far sooner than people expect. Sometimes within weeks, people notice more stable energy, fewer cravings, better digestion, improved mood, less afternoon fatigue. Then gradually, better sleep, less inflammation, improved mobility, more stable weight, sharper thinking. The body starts functioning more efficiently because it finally has the support it has been missing. And this is especially important because many people lose hope too early. They expect dramatic overnight changes. But biology usually changes quietly first. Healing begins beneath the surface long before it becomes visible. That's how real transformation works. Slow, steady, sustainable. And this is why extreme diets often fail emotionally. They create stress, restriction, exhaustion. But sustainable nourishment creates safety, and the body responds differently to safety than it does to stress. Now, there's one more hidden truth most people never fully realize. Many symptoms people blame entirely on aging are actually worsened by modern food environments. Ultra-processed foods were not designed to nourish human biology. They're engineered for convenience, cravings, and shelf life. But the body recognizes real nourishment differently. Protein, fiber, healthy fats, minerals, antioxidants, hydration. These are ancient biological signals the body understands deeply. Which means the goal is not chasing trendy superfoods from across the world. Often, the most powerful foods are simple foods humans have relied on for generations. Eggs, berries, fish, beans, vegetables, oats, nuts, seeds, real nourishment. And perhaps the most powerful shift happens when people stop viewing food as punishment and start seeing it as information. Because every bite either supports inflammation or supports repair, supports blood sugar chaos or stability, supports energy crashes or sustained fuel. The body is always responding, always adapting, always listening. And maybe that's the deeper message hidden inside all of this. Your body is not your enemy. It's trying to survive the signals it receives every day. Which means when you begin changing those signals consistently, the body often changes with them. Not instantly, but meaningfully. And if you've been feeling discouraged lately, if your energy feels lower, if your body feels slower, if your metabolism feels more stubborn than ever before, please remember this. Your biology is not fixed in stone. Small daily habits still matter enormously. A nourishing breakfast matters. Protein matters. Movement matters. Sleep matters. Inflammation matters. Stress management matters. And sometimes, a few simple foods repeated consistently can quietly change far more than people expect. Not because they are magical, but because they finally give the body what it has been missing for years. And in our next documentary, we're going to uncover something millions of adults unknowingly do every morning that silently keeps belly fat, inflammation, and fatigue locked in place after 50. because some healthy breakfast habits may actually be damaging your metabolism far more than you realize. And the truth surprises almost everyone.